Who was Enzo Ferrari? Enzo Ferrari began his auto racing career in 1919. He soon joined Alfa Romeo and managed its racing division after retiring from driving in 1931. Following World War II, the Ferrari marque earned renown as its drivers racked up numerous major championships. However, its founder faced personal turmoil after the early death of his son, while financial issues forced him to explore mergers with other automakers. Ferrari formally resigned as president of his company in 1977 and died in 1988. Early years. Enzo Anselmo Ferrari was born on February 18, 1898, in Modena, Italy. The second child of parents Adalgisa and Alfredo, a metal worker. Ferrari was bitten by the racing bug at age 10 when his dad took him to watch a motor car race in Bologna. Ferrari also dreamed of becoming an opera singer, but the deaths of his father and brother from the flu in 1916 forced him to grow up quickly, and he left school to become an instructor for Modena's fire service workshop. The rise of Ferrari. Soon after leaving Alfa Romeo, Ferrari opened Auto Avio Costruzioni in Modena and sought to develop his own racing cars, but the outbreak of World War II led to government intervention. The company moved its factory to nearby Maranello, where it focused on building grinding machines. Ferrari resumed designing racing cars at the conclusion of the war, and in March 1947 he took the first official Ferrari, the 125S, out for a test drive. The marque scored its first win that year at the Rome Grand Prix and went on to notch victories at the Mille Miglia in 1948, the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1949 and the British Grand Prix in 1951. In 1952 and 1953, Ferrari driver Alberto Ascari won the World Racing Championship. Around this time, the company also began producing cars for road use, with the rich and famous lining up for a chance to purchase one of these dazzling vehicles. Driving career and team manager. In 1919, Ferrari moved to Milan to work as a test driver for Costruzioni Meccaniche Nazionale. Given the chance to compete with the company's racing team, he made his debut at the 1919 Parma Poggio di Berceto hillclimb race, finishing fourth in his division. He left CM in the following year to join Alfa Romeo. After winning the Circuito del Savio in 1923, Ferrari met the parents of World War I flying ace Francesco Baracca, who suggested the young driver use the emblem that decorated their son's plane for good luck. The emblem, a prancing horse, eventually came to represent the power and prestige of the Ferrari marque. That year, Ferrari also married Laura Domenica Garello, said to be unwilling to damage an engine by pushing it to its limits. Ferrari nonetheless won his share of races and was honored by his country for his sporting achievements. In 1929, he pulled together his own team of drivers and engineers for his Scuderia Ferrari, comprised mainly of Alfa Romeos. The Scuderia soon became the official racing arm of the automaker. Ferrari competed in his final race in August 1931 and became a father with the birth of his beloved son Dino in January 1932, although he scored a huge victory with one of his cars at the 1935 German Grand Prix. He had to close his Scuderia in 1937 when Alfa Romeo reclaimed its racing division. He left the company for good in September 1939, with the stipulation he could not use the Ferrari name in association with racing or cars for at least 4 years. Later years, death and legacy. Ferrari formally resigned as president of his company in 1977, although he effectively retained control of the business. Following the death of his wife in 1978, he admitted to fathering another son, Piero, with his mistress Lina Lardi in 1945. Shortly after being conferred an honorary degree in physics from the University of Modena, Ferrari died on August 14, 1988. In Maranello, no cause of death was given, although he was known to be suffering from kidney disease. Over the course of his lifetime, his cars won more than 4,000 races and claimed 13 world championships. In recognition of his accomplishments, he was inducted into the International Motorsports Hall of Fame in 1994.